Welcome into college football now. I am Harrison Graham. This is Tom Downey. Just a day before National Signing Day, and Michigan State football coach Mark Dantonio, Tom, steps down, or retires, I should say, after 13 seasons as the Spartans head coach.
An extremely unexpected move. We weren't really anticipating Dantonio. We thought if it was going to happen, it was going to happen after the year ended. Not a day before National Signing Day. Now, look, Dantonio had really turned around that MSU program. Kind of fallen a little bit on tougher times the past couple years. He was a great coach for Michigan State. The timing of the whole thing, Harrison, is rather peculiar and strange at best.
Yeah, because in the later part of the fall, it was okay, they're 4-6. Maybe his best days are behind him, but they finish strong, get to a bowl game. No indication that it wasn't going to be anyone other than Mark Dantonio in 2020. But the day before National Signing Day, he decides to retire as Michigan State's head coach, releases a statement, says he still will be involved in the Michigan State athletic department. Let's go through a timeline of why this could have happened so suddenly. Now, Curtis Blackwell, former recruiting coordinator for Michigan State. This is recruiting violations possibly coming to light between Blackwell and Dantonio. Let's take you through a timeline here. So Dantonio brings him on in 2013 as a recruiting coordinator in August of that year. 4 years go by. 3 Michigan State football players are accused of sexual assault. They talk to Blackwell. He gets arrested for obstructing this sexual assault investigation, Tom.
Yeah, and then he's later suspended with pay by Michigan State, and that kind of begins the beginning of the end here for the Blackwell time at Michigan State.
Yeah, so it's kind of a month-to-month contract situation. Then in May of 2017, Dantonio and Michigan State do not renew his contract, citing philosophical differences, but clearly wanting to cut ties with Curtis Blackwell there. Then in June of 2017, a Michigan State law firm investigation is complete, and Blackwell is accused of wrongdoing during his time at Michigan State.
And then in November of 2018, he files for wrongful termination as part of a lawsuit there. He kind of accuses Michigan State that Blackwell was set up as the scapegoat for everything.
Yeah, his own words were he was being set up as the fall guy in this whole situation with the sexual assault investigation involving those 3 players in 2017. You fast forward to just a couple of weeks ago, January 10th, Mark Dantonio gives a deposition in a lawsuit. And then today, Tom, Curtis Blackwell, his attorneys allege Dantonio committed recruiting violations. This is, I think, where you kind of get to the point of maybe this is why suddenly Mark Dantonio is hanging him up.
Yeah, so some more background here on that alleged violation. In that deposition Dantonio had back in January, he said, no, Blackwell never did any home visits. That's an NCAA violation.
Yep.
Now Blackwell's lawyer team says, no, we have the proof that, yes, he was at an in-home visit, including for a 5-star recruit. That recruit went unnamed. You can piece it together because not very many Detroit area-born Michigan 5-star recruits. It's probably Malik McDowell there. And also that there were one of the big-time boosters at Michigan State was providing shadow employment for the parents of notable players. Those are some of the alleged recruiting violations there. Part of the incredible successful tenure of Mark Dantonio, 115-57 in 13 years at Michigan State. Did a fantastic job with Sparty. It's a pretty shocking, not retirement, but departure here for Dantonio with Spartans.
So as far as the recruiting allegations go, February 20th, I believe, is the next court date. We'll see if more comes to light on this situation. Like you said, Blackwell can't. He says that recruit and his family members will cite that incident when he was in their house, part of a recruiting visit, which he was not allowed to do under his title at Michigan State. How shocking is Mark Dantonio's retirement? Scale it on from 1 to 10. I won't put it at a 10 because it's been a couple of bad years now in terms of they've kind of fallen off the map. I'll put it at a 7 or an 8, though. I'll put it at a 7. It's fairly surprising, just the timing of it, exactly. The day before National Signing Day.
Yeah, it's less of the news itself, more of the whole timing of it.
Yeah, absolutely. So that is the latest on Mark Dantonio retiring. Let's get into top 10 possible candidates for Michigan State. Tom, you put this list together. We've got P.J. Fleck at number 10. Does feel like a bit of a long shot, whereas a few months ago, maybe it wouldn't have.
Fleck, I think, would be a dream hire for Michigan State. Look, he's done a great job at Minnesota. I think Spartan fans would love to bring him in because we know who P.J. Fleck is. We know he's a fantastic coach. But there are some big-time question marks here. The first being, He did just sign a big-time extension back in November, and if we're being honest here, given the whole timing of when this Michigan State job has come open, is jumping from Minnesota to Michigan State in early February of 2020, is that an upgrade for Fleck? I'm not convinced that it actually is.
Top 20 team possibly next season. Tanner Morgan's back. A lot of talent from Minnesota, and with all that's going on at Michigan State, might be better off staying there. We got a deal for you guys. A lot of you men watching haven't taken care of Valentine's Day. Well, you don't want to go battle all the crazies in the stores on February 14th. Let's hook you up. 50% off, chatsports.com/flowers. We got flowers, cookies, brownies, lots of sweets, which I know you're a big fan of, Tom. They'll deliver it to you on Valentine's Day, so you don't have to worry about it. Go ahead and get it out of the way. Chatsports.com/flowers for 15% off. Go take care of your wife, girlfriend, mother, daughter, whatever the case may be. Get her set up for Valentine's Day. Number 9, you got Pat Shermer, and this is an interesting one, Tom, the former Giants head coach.
Wild card, baby. He's been fired by the Giants, hired by the Broncos as the OC, as I'm sure many of you know. He makes sense for Michigan State because he played at Michigan State, won a Rose Bowl as the quarterback, coached there in some capacity, first as a GA, then as a pure assistant coach, from 1988 to 1997. The big red flag here is he hasn't coached in college since 1998. It's kind of been a long time. Does it make sense for him to come back? And beyond that, he's not a great head coach.
Yeah, I think his name stature has kind of fallen a bit. He's had much more success as an offensive coordinator, but that is in the NFL. He knows Michigan State, obviously. That could certainly be an option for Sparty. Number 8 guy here, another NFL assistant coach. Let's go to Robert Saleh, the defensive coordinator out in San Francisco.
Again, it is some local Michigan State ties here for our number 8 candidate. Was a defensive assistant at Michigan State from 2002 to 2003. Also was a Central Michigan assistant. This is an outside-the-box option, but it's also a pretty big long shot here. I would be surprised if Robert, who is on the verge of being an NFL head coach, makes the jump to Michigan State.
49ers obviously coming off that Super Bowl appearance, got interviews for head coaching opportunities in the NFL. This would be possibly a step back, quite frankly. Number 7 candidate, I like this one a lot. Mel Tucker, I've followed him for several years now, did a great job as Georgia's DC, coached under Nick Saban in 2015 at Alabama. I think he's got Colorado swinging in the right direction. And I like this idea, Tom. GA at Michigan State in the late 90s. Also, this is a man in college football circles that is high character, intangibles, leadership abilities. That might be exactly what Michigan State needs right now.
And there are some ties to Dantonio as well. Tucker coached under Dantonio at Ohio State when Dantonio was the DC. Tucker was his defensive backs coach. And then once Dantonio left Ohio State, Mel Tucker ended up replacing him as that defensive coordinator.
Part of that 2002 Ohio State national title staff as well. Our next candidate here is the Bills offensive coordinator, a trio of assistant NFL coaches here, Brian Daboll.
Now, Daboll's an interesting fit here because he hasn't had that much time in the college ranks. Now, most recently, he was the Alabama offensive coordinator. He's part of that coveted Saban-Belichick coaching tree, which, hey, I'm sure Michigan State wouldn't mind going back to that rank there. He was also a GA at Michigan State, 1998 to 1999, so there is some brief overlap actually there with Mel Tucker. He's been the Bills OC since 2018. I'm not convinced he wants to make the jump back to the college level, but I think MSU could be a good fit for him.
Did get interviewed for the Cleveland Browns head coaching job in this last NFL head coaching cycle. Sparty fans, we have gear on sale for you guys. Chatsports.com/NCAA gear. We got t-shirts, hoodies, long sleeves, socks, shorts, hats,
hoodie,
whatever you want. Michigan State gear, we got you guys covered. Gear up to 50% off. Chatsports.com/NCAA gear. I love that hoodie as well. Might have to get one of those, even though I got no connection to Michigan State. You guys should take advantage of these deals today. Let's get into our top 5 here, Tom. A name that kind of continues to get brought up when jobs open, but hasn't quite broken through yet. That is Chris Creighton, who continues to do a great job within the state of Michigan at Eastern Michigan.
I like the top 5 candidates as a little bit more of the realistic, more likely list here for Michigan State. Creighton took over how do I put this delicately? Horrible program at Eastern Michigan. That is truly one of the toughest jobs to win at in college football, and he's actually been able to do it. He's got them making bowl games at
bowl
Eastern
games,
Michigan, which I know that's not the bar for Michigan State. At Eastern Michigan, that is unprecedented success.
Michigan State fans, you will find this funny. He beat Purdue last year, who went on to beat Ohio State in that same season.
Transitive win.
So there you go. Number 4, Jim McElwain, the head coach at Central Michigan. I'm not even sure how many people know that he's the head coach at Central Michigan, but in his first year, took a 1-11 team to the MAC championship.
Yeah, I think that's pretty impressive there overall with the job that he's been able to do at Central Michigan. I am impressed by it. I think he's done a very good job in terms of getting that program back. They were 1-11 last year. They won 8 games, and it was really it's a deceptive 8-8 mark because they lost the MAC title game to the great 8-6 mark, the great Miami of Ohio team. And then they also lost their bowl game. So 8 wins plus 2 losses at the end of the year. He's done a good job, although Florida tenure ended really weird.
Yeah, got Colorado State back on the map. As weird as Florida was, still went to 2 SEC title games. I think he gets a bit of a bad rap. I think he's a better coach than people give him credit for. What is a better directional Michigan option? Type M for McElwain, type C for Creighton. Of course, talking about smaller Michigan head coaching candidates right now with McElwain at CMU and Creighton at EMU.
I'm going to go with McElwain here. I think that's a more proven option.
Power 5 experience.
You have that experience there. So everyone watching, feel free to type your M's and your C's. Also, why for yes if that was McElwain with the Shark? Just let me know.
Could be a little rich for Chris Creighton at this time. Now, this is interesting as we get into our top 3, and I feel like this is very possible. How about an interim candidate? Because, again, day before National Signing Day, you're kind of behind the 8 ball here in terms of trying to find a permanent head coaching job. They could do a 1-year interim here.
Yeah, the timing's really bad for Michigan State, and there truly are some options here as it relates to potential interim candidates to take over and fill that role for Michigan State. And maybe what you actually end up doing is maybe you try to pursue a Ohio State or a Baylor type of move where the timing's really bad. We have to, in reality, almost punt on the 2020 season.
Stabilizer.
Let's get someone in there who can stabilize us, and then we focus on the 2021 coaching search. And if that's the case, there are some interim candidates that make sense. Mike Tressel, the one that jumps out to me, he's the assistant head coach right now and the DC. He is the acting interim right now for Sparty. Jim Bowman was the OC, longtime Michigan State guy, but got demoted. Brad Salem took his place. Don Treadwell has head coach experience. He was horrible at Miami, but he has head coach experience. So I'm going to throw out a theory in a little bit, but I think going with a Tressel could make sense for Michigan State to get another player or coach connected to Ohio State.
Yeah, it'll be curious to see if they want to go just completely from away from the Dantonio regime altogether. We will see how that plays out. Should Michigan State hire an interim coach? Type Y for yes, type N for no. Before you weigh in, I don't think you ever want to unless you feel like that's your only option, because I know there's things bigger than winning and losing games, but you don't want to punt on a season. This isn't a small program. This is a program with pride and with a winning culture, albeit they've had a couple of down seasons.
The timing's just pretty rough there. I think Michigan State, if they can't get their top 2 targets, should consider that.
Yeah, absolutely. So let's get into that top 2. Pat Narduzzi, of course, the longtime defensive coordinator at Michigan State, had a nice season this year at Pitt. I think he kind of entered this year somewhat on the hot seat, has started to finally turn Pittsburgh around.
I think he's been the same guy, really. I think
he's kind of a 7-5 guy.
He's an 8-5 coach. That's kind of my mindset with him, which is fine. That's not bad, but maybe you want a little bit more. But he would bring a stabilizing force, I think, for Michigan State. I think maybe the biggest argument in favor of him is, there's a pretty clear top 2 right now in terms of the favorites for this job. Because he was under Dantonio for so long, I think that makes sense. That 2018 year, by the way, it was weird, 7-7. They actually won the ACC and played the championship game that year.
That outlines the ACC the last couple of years.
There's someone new each year. I don't think he's the top target, but with coaches with a connection to MSU, I think he makes sense.
Comfort, familiarity, I think it makes a lot of sense there, Tom. Then we get to the top guy here, Luke Fickell, who it seems like he's kind of been waiting for that opportunity. He was certainly in the mix for some other jobs the last couple of years. Is this the job you want to take at this time if you're Luke Fickell? I think it's a trickier question than most would say.
So I'm from Cincinnati, and Cincinnati fans don't like this when they're referred to as a stepping stone job, but in reality, that's what it is.
If you're not a Power 5 job,
it's one of the best stepping stone jobs, and I think going from Cincinnati to Michigan State Where Fickell's had immense success with Cincinnati, 2 straight 11-win years, he's been incredible. If this was in December, I'd feel pretty good this would end up being the hire. The timing makes it trickier. And if you're Michigan State, the last time you hired a Cincinnati coach, it turned out really well for you. So I'd rather have PJ Fleck for sure, but in terms of realistic candidates, I think Fickell should be the top guy on the Michigan State list.
Yeah, he's done great work with Cincinnati, 4-8 his first year, but like you said, back-to-back 11-win seasons. Who will be the next head coach at Michigan State? Who's going to replace Mark Dantonio? If you think it'll be an interim, type one of those guys below. If you think it's someone not on our list, let us know. There's certainly a lot of good candidates out there. We have Luke Fickell as our number 1 candidate.
Galaxy brain idea here for Michigan State. What if you try to take this approach? What if you just went with the interim for now and you promoted Tressel to get Mark Dantonio, or to replace Mark Dantonio, to get Luke Fickell in, thus completing the cycle, by the way, of going from Tressel to Fickell. You reverse it and you fix it.
That's the Tom conspiracy theory. I'm not as smart as he is. Let us know who replaces Mark Dantonio.